It is indeed a pleasure to have this privilege to play here for you. We intend to give you a very fine program, so just settle back, relax, and enjoy the moment.
Mic check, mic check. I hope I'm coming in loud and clear on Facebook. Looks like I'm near. Looks like I'm blurry though. How you doing, Twitch peeps? I'm good. How you doing? This is Mic'd Up. I'm mikagadsden. Mic'd Up from Charleston, live from Charleston. What up, Whiskey Need? Oh my God. Missed you. Did that sound fake? It was sincere. Good morning if you're watching on Facebook. Good morning if you're watching on Twitch, my special spot, right? Good morning. Good morning. Charlie the Brit. You need help waking up, perfect timing. That was me today. I was just distracted. Hey, little mama. Yeah, shout out to y'all. What's up, Brienne? What's up, Mexie? What's up, Debbie? Yeah. If you're watching live, if you're watching later, hey, what's up? It's Mic'd Up. El Cool J. Good morning. Hey, Jerome. Hey, Shelby. I appreciate you saying good morning, Shelby. Shelby, you got a beautiful family. I was lurking on Facebook. You know, I dip in and dip out on Facebook. I was lurking. Susanna, good to see you. Denise, good morning over here in Twitch. Yeah. Okay. Let's do some housekeeping real quick. I don't know what it is. It might be the way my brain chemistry set up. Y'all know your girl. You know, I already talked about my mental health stuff a lot. This is not a downer conversation. But yesterday, for some reason, I felt like yesterday wasn't good. And this is not insecurity. This is just someone who really does love constructive feedback. Right now, Charleston Activist Network is like essentially a team of two. Y'all are kind of like the community that comes every morning to check out the content, that supports the content, that shares the content. Y'all kind of like the third kind of, I guess, I don't want to, y'all are part of the collective, but it's me and Jared, right? And so sometimes it's hard to gauge how things went. Like I really do. Finally not on the plane. I hear you, Whiskey Need. So sometimes like I love a debrief. I love a postmortem, and I don't have that because Jared works. He's a grown up. So did yesterday? Was yesterday let me know, because I was kind of all over the place. All over the place, and I didn't feel like it was dope. I didn't feel like it was like, but I did get some good feedback. Shout out to Dave Infante, formerly, well, he's a journalist in the area, writes about all things beer, all things breweries. Shout out to him. He hit me up. He kind of skimmed through the content. But yeah, let me know. Just not know. If you think that's me being insecure, it's not. Y'all know when I'm being insecure. It's more so like I don't have a team and we can't talk about things after like production wraps. Not yet, at least. We're working on it. Shout out to the send me some good vibes. Last night I submitted an application, like a contest for new forms of media, and how am I changing the frontier, and I applied for it. So hopefully with extra support and funding, I'll have that team in place, and we'll be able to make certain production. Good morning, Steven. It's good to see you in the chat here on Twitch. Steven Bowden's in the house, y'all. How you doing? Good to see you, and thank you for the follow yesterday. I appreciate it. But yeah, anyway, give me some feedback if you wish. Yeah. So let's hop in. Okay, Brienne, you said you thought yesterday was great. Lots of collaboration, and that's what I really want to encourage. Like, I love when y'all, I know I get distracted sometimes and I might look flustered, but I love when y'all weigh in, drop links. This is a two-way street. You can't get that with no legacy media. You can't get that with a newspaper. You can't get that back and forth. You can't get that. So I'm trying to have y'all engage me. All right, I'm going to stay on topic today. What time is it? 8:06. Let's go. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you. It's so much news I want to get to. Local, national, Mace, Michigas. I want to talk more about the Lou Kennedy thing. I want to talk about the recent Justin Bamberg case. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm trying to figure out what to show you first. Okay, let me just switch up. Get out my email first and switch up. Okay, we're gonna get to So the title of the live stream was Stone Cringe. I know y'all probably say I'm running out with all these puns and stuff, but I love doing it. So Stone Cringe, we want to talk about. We talked about it before the History Commission convened on Wednesday. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna read the recent reporting on what the History Commission did. We're gonna watch a little bit of the History Commission here in Charleston. They're convening to discuss the fate of the wretched hate symbol that is the Calhoun Monument, right? We're going to talk about that, read the reporting, look at the video. LAXART, the dude we were talking about, Mr. Walker, he actually joined the commission virtually and weighed in. I believe he had another staff member or colleague from LAXART join him on the call. We're going to just watch a little bit of this because Mr. Rosen have several seats. This Orville Redenbacher, persona thing that, I hate to keep saying that, but there's a certain look, y'all. There's a certain look with some of the the older influential men in positions of leadership. There's a look that they all kind of, it's like this unassuming, I'm a wear bow tie, I'm a be, the seersucker is always on point. El Cool J, you my interns. Yeah, you are actually. We're gonna talk about that. Matter of fact, we're gonna talk about that, the Calhoun Monument. Kind of want to start with Mace. I kind of want to start with Nancy Mace. I just kind of want to start there. So let me pull up my reporting first. So what I did was I used my library card today to access Post and Courier articles that I wanted to read here. So this is one. This is the Lou Kennedy. All right, I'll cue that up, and then I want to cue this one up too. All right, this is the Calhoun piece, and let me see. I know I downloaded one about Mace. So that's the Calhoun piece. That's the Kennedy. Okay, I'm gonna put that right there. Let me see. Did I close it out? I want to get to the reporting on Mace, but basically this tweet right here encapsulates it. So basically, y'all seen the really gross Gosar controversy. Arizona Congressman Gosar. We know he's a QAnon sycophant. We know he's just off the deep end when it comes to, and I don't use that term lightly, when it comes to QAnon conspiracies, peddling these conspiracies to help to hopefully overturn government, whatever. He posted this really, really disgusting video, an edited anime video, where it depicted him murdering Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, and it was just disgusting. It was reprehensible, and so there were some votes. That's what I had up. There were some votes. Let me see if I can find it. I'm just gonna not use my library card. There were some votes. And Nancy Mace, I'm progressive. I'm your friend. I'm a legalized weed. I like Britney Spears like you love Britney Spears. Yeah, Miss Mace that likes to kind of traffic in some sort of she's an opportunist. She's looking for her way in. She's in a swing district. She's trying to walk a tightrope, confuse a lot of y'all, not confusing me. Let me hit the news tab because there was one story. Yeah. I thought I downloaded this story. I guess I didn't. But this story right here is what we're going to dive into. Written by Nick Reynolds, Post and Courier. South Carolina Republicans back. Again, South Carolina Republicans back Representative Paul Gosar in House censure vote, right? So the House voted to censure him after he posted this video. He took to the floor, Gosar did, talking about, I ain't, it's just this. He didn't even apologize. He was like, it ain't nothing, it's a meme, blah, blah, blah. Then he kind of acknowledged it was gross, but then as soon as he finished speaking on the floor, he reposted the video. So it shows you where he at with it. I'll read a little bit of this and then we're gonna get to the video ASAP. So this is from Nick Reynolds, based in Columbia, reporting for the Post and Courier. South Carolina's House Republican delegation voted against censoring U.S. Rep. Paul Gosar for a video he posted on social media depicting him killing one of his Democratic colleagues before launching an attack on the President of the United States, which is the other added wrinkle, right? So, nobody, Mace, where you at? Where you at? Doing the right thing, right? So here she goes, get back on Twitter. Here she goes, both side and shit, which is really, really corny. So you know what? We can watch it on YouTube because I don't want to do all this piecing. We'll watch it here on YouTube. Oh, stop it. Refresh. Here we go. We will wind it. It's 8 minutes. I think we might dig in.
The video of Congressman Gosar depicted him killing a member of Congress. Why are you okay with that?
I'm not okay with that, quite frankly.
First off, it's MSNBC. It ain't my favorite news outlet by far, but let's come through with the framing the question. Let me rewind it again. Listen to how Miss Rule here frames all these questions to Mace. I love it. Go for the soundbite. Let's go.
The video of Congressman Gosar depicted him killing a member of Congress. Why are you okay with that?
I'm not okay with that, quite frankly. What Congressman Gosar posted, the anime video, is disgusting. It's reprehensible. He should have already taken responsibility for it and apologized, not only to AOC, but every member of Congress. Someone's going to get hurt. I'm someone who gets... So
she's trying to both sides, and you're going to hear her try to be cute. But also what I want y'all to remember is that she, too, is a creator of memes. Now, she never went as far, to my recollection, she never went as far as to create a meme that shows her enacting violence against any of her peers. But she has shared Photoshop memes, right? Right, Charlie Britt. She has shared Photoshop memes that I would argue definitely didn't, it doesn't help advance GOP principles or values. Basically what I'm trying to say is she participated in this bullshit too. And so it's just funny seeing her now react to maybe a more intense version of what she used to do, but she traffics in the bullshit of meme, of corny, dishonest meme making herself. So she knows a little bit about this.
Threats from the far right and the far left, but I also respect the Constitution, and the Constitution says that we've got to follow the rules of the House, and the House rules say there has to be an investigation and has to have involvement from the Ethics Committee and the Office of Congressional Ethics, or OCE. That hasn't been done yet, and I also, if this were strictly a condemnation vote or a censure vote, I believe the outcome would have been different. There would have been more Republican support, but because it included stripping a member of their committee assignments, this was a bit different this time. And hasn't been done except for one time before earlier in this session. And so it was a different vote. Censure solely you would have had more support there. But it's disgusting.
Right, LQJ?
And no one should be condoning this kind of thing, because there's the divisiveness we see on both sides of the aisle in this country, and I've been a victim of that.
She really, she's giving both sides a workout, yo. She giving that phrase, both sides. Sweetie, release the Ring video. Please release the Ring video footage, because we need to see who tagged your house, because we don't believe you. We really just don't believe you at all. Please release the video, Nancy. With this both sides shit is really annoying, and it's also insulting. Good morning, Joni. You just joined the chat here on Twitch. Joni, you said, I'm not trying to be too dramatic, but the years leading up to the Civil War had a lot of violence amongst lawmakers. No. That's actually going to factor into the Calhoun discussion. Because yeah. You ain't lying. And because Calhoun, we're going to talk about that, because Calhoun, the monument came down. A lot of Confederate monuments came down in other areas. Calhoun, technically, that monument wasn't a Confederate monument, but he was the architect of the things that led to the Civil War, and he predicted the Civil War. So to that point, I like where your mind is at, Joni. LQJ, you says always pulling out the Constitution. I swear. And I thought she was for small government. Now she's all for the bureaucracy that is investigations and more hearings and more. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Divisiveness is not okay and shouldn't be accepted.
It's disgusting.
By anyone on the left or the right.
Susanna.
And if it was a censure vote only, you would have voted yes?
Yes.
Certainly I would have condemned him, and the censure would have been a more appropriate, I think.
No, she wouldn't.
A appropriate response, but also the Ethics Committee needs to be involved with it as the OCE. That's what the rules of the House say. And as a freshman member of Congress, I do find it frustrating that we don't follow the rules of the House in many cases, and this is an important thing. We see this kind of rhetoric brewing on social media, and it does spill over.
You started. You do it. You participate in it.
Someone showed up on my house this summer and spray painted it. I had my car keyed last year. I have to carry
they didn't even find anything from the car key.
Firearm when I'm back home in South Carolina because of the kind of threats, just because of the things that I believe in. And no one should have to do that. On the other side of the aisle, we see members that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on private security. There's a reason for that because
black members
the
of
rhetoric
Congress
is so awful. And it's incumbent upon not just members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans, to turn down the volume, but it's incumbent upon every American to take a step back and think about the words that we're saying, because they
as I watch this and hear her say the same things over and over, because she said this before, y'all ain't, that's why I'm almost, if it wasn't for Stephanie Rule lobbing some really interesting framing with a question asking, I really wouldn't have watched this, past maybe the 2-minute mark. But this shit is so funny to me because she's saying the same talking points over and over again. It's amazing how many cameras she hops in front of saying the same thing, no matter what the issue is, like outside of the conservatorship issue, because she can't really talk about both sides, but that issue specifically, outside of it being gaining bipartisan support. But like, she's saying the same things. And what I really want to tell y'all, and I'm preaching to the converted because much of y'all already know this intuitively, like instinctively, this already. Politicians lie. Even your favorite ones will find a creative way to lie. Think Aaron Rodgers. Even though he's not a politician, that type of thing that Aaron Rodgers did, like you got caught in a lie, then you go back, well, I was immunized. You being cute with the language choice, or framing things a little bit different, or not answering the questions directly. Mace, like many politicians, can be very disingenuous, and it is not right versus left. They all do it. They all do it. And what I really want y'all to do is start really cracking in, or when you listen, yes, listen skeptically, but when you listen, take note of the talking points, take note of the repetitive nature of what she says. Also, go back to the reporting on this. We can pull up the reporting about her car being keyed and them not finding anything. We can pull up the reporting on her house being tagged, but yet she is yet to disclose, or anyone's yet to disclose, any of the surveillance video. She lives on Daniel Island. That ain't, come on, that ain't Ardmore, right? That ain't Shadow Moss. But you could argue everybody has, like, almost everybody has a Ring doorbell or something like that. But my point is, like, those well-appointed homes, a home of a congresswoman is going to be secure, right? And so we haven't seen anything that would lead us to think that she really is a victim of these crimes. And look at the reporting on the issue, the local reporting. Find the journalists that you can trust, whose reporting is very sound, and read up on these things. All the stuff that she's lobbing out to get sympathy, a lot of people just don't check it. No, check the local reporting on it. Use your library card when you do it too. This is just really, ugh. I got you, Susanna.
And I do believe that these things can lead to real violence in real people's lives, and it's not okay.
Seeing that he then retweeted that very video after the vote took place, do you feel compelled to call for that ethics investigation that you mentioned?
Well, we certainly should. And I think it's disgusting that he would do that. I mean, this is another member of Congress, whether a member of Congress or not. This is a human being. And
that
people will take words and actions and then turn them into real life. And we've seen that, 4 years ago when Congressman Steve Scalise was shot at the softball game.
Oh, this was
cute. These things have happened in the past. She came
ready with that. Congressman Steve Scalise was not shot by anybody in Congress. So yeah, there are weirdo, violent men, women out there, violent people out there. We got we got more guns than people in this country, right? Even though I am also pro Second Amendment. You can get that smoke too. Goes both ways. But like, and I don't mean that in a violent way. I'm saying, like, I'm pro Second Amendment, like anybody else, right? But like, what I'm trying to say is that, like, she's bringing up Steve Scalise's shooting as if Steve Scalise was shot by someone, even though that person was found to be, I believe, like Democrat or left leaning. That, bringing up her house, bringing up her car being keyed. I don't understand what the personal things happening, like these other things that did not happen within Congress it wasn't congressperson on congressperson type of action, right? I don't know what those random acts of violence have to do with you holding your colleague accountable. See how she's able to deflect to other issues that have nothing to do with what took place within her ranks, within her party? that also is this is a tactic as well. So we don't have to listen to her lie anymore. We're gonna hop out because somebody responded. Is there a doctor? She responded again, Dr. Annie Andrews, with that scalpel. I don't know if she likes me saying that, but I don't. That's what I do. I add commentary. But like, yeah, she came with the scalpel and carved her up one more time. It was thrilling to watch. Right? It's like, you remember those, like how sitcoms used to always have, like Seinfeld, the whole Junior Mint episode. You know how like because sitcoms used to always show this, like how you could watch surgery, how there's like an observation deck in certain hospitals or medical, I don't know, whatever. And like I feel like when Annie Andrews responds to Nancy Mace substantively with a really, really decent, retort, I feel like it's me watching up in the gallery with my junior mints, like looking like, dang, oh, that's how she carved. Oh, that's how she sliced that up. Okay. Yeah. Slice up them talking points. Yeah. Susanna, early in the chat here on Twitch, you said, regarding Nicole, I know your phone, you caught her up. Okay. You caught her up. Okay. So that's it. Let me see if you said anything else. El J, you said she has to pull off, she has the pull of Scalise. I don't think so. Right. It's the insurrection. I see it, and the Scalise shooting was devastating and disgusting. Like, it was gross. It was horrible. I can't get into the head of people who use violence as a means to make political points. Right. I'll never be able to wrap my head around that. Right. But again, it has nothing to do with her peer, who's currently an elected official, right? A sitting elected official, advancing these thoughts, right? All right, so Dr. Annie Andrews is here. So I love this. So she pulls a quote out about Mace. Mace says, "My kids and your kids and all of our children, they don't deserve it." And then she says here, "I protect kids." I don't know who's running on Dr. Annie Andrews' Twitter. Y'all know it's not her, just so y'all know that. Like, it's not her. If it was her, she getting help. She getting a lot of help. She got what? I don't know how many followers she had before she declared. She got 35,000 followers. I want y'all to know that too. Like, even AOC, that's not her. That's the team. But but this is a great tweet by her team. All right, "I protect kids every day. But your vote didn't protect a single child. It protected an extremist who threatened to kill a female colleague. Want to protect kids? Send a pediatrician to Congress." I love it. The team is on point. I think she had one more tweet. Did she have one more tweet? Oh, I think she had one. Let me see. Is this a thread? Let me see. No, just other people reacting to it. I thought it was one more tweet. But I love this one right here. I just love this response. Yup. And also, too, Nancy Mace has a history of being anti-woman, right? That's not unusual when you think about women, conservatives, especially from the South. She's very anti-woman, went to the cinema. She reminds me of a pick-me. She's a pick-me. Like, she's always appealing to the male gaze. She's always making sure that men find her acceptable, find her work to make herself more attractive, in my opinion. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but I feel like she's an opportunist, right? Who is this with the name? Yeah. Okay, so let's go. Let me see what else I liked, because I might have liked her tweet. Hold on one second. Nope, that was it. It was that one. Yeah. But yeah, and as Aaron Rupar said here, if you're both siding the Gosar censure like Nancy Mace here, I can't take you seriously. Period. Right? So let's go back to the reporting real quick. We're gonna wrap this up and get right to Calhoun in a second. Oh, nobody dissing you. Who's this? Get out of here. Doop. I took care of that. All right. Yeah. I love you. Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Okay. Sorry, I had to let you go. All right, so let's go back to the reporting real quick, and we're gonna wrap this up. Okay. So the video, I'm not gonna watch the video. I'm not gonna put that on Twitch. The video in question was an edited clip inspired by the popular anime Attack on Titan, produced by staffers in the Arizona Republican's office, in which a flying Gosar, he wished he was that agile, a flying Gosar slays Democrat rep and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with a sword before attacking President Joe Biden with dramatic music. Actually, I think what's worth watching is AOC's response. I think that's like hearing the person that was, I guess, most impacted. Let's C-SPAN is gonna let that run 6 minutes. Let's watch this. Let me see. Let's watch the coverage from the Hill on this. We'll watch a little bit of this. Yeah.
In a vote of 223 to 207, the House removed Congressman Paul Gosar of Arizona from 2 committees for posting an animated video that depicted
Can you guess the 2 Republicans that joined the Democrats who crossed the aisle? Can you guess the 2?
Figure with his face, killing a figure with AOC's face, and also assaulting President Biden. The vote marks the first time in more than a decade that the House has censored one of its members. Here's House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
By its adoption of House Resolution 789, the House has resolved that Representative Paul Gosar of Arizona be censured. That Representative Paul Gosar forthwith present himself in the well of the House for the pronouncement of censure. That Representative Paul Gosar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and that Representative Paul Gosar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Natural Resources and the Committee on Oversight and Reform.
Okay, and let me let y'all hear her bang the gavel. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward to the part where I think AOC is there. Okay. And he doesn't care. I can't remember what show I was watching yesterday, but they were like, this doesn't hurt Gosar. Not to say that they shouldn't have did it. I'm glad they did it. But this doesn't hurt Gosar because they don't give a fuck. He don't care about the committee. They're the party of obstruction. And again, when we get to the Calhoun Monument, we're going to talk about that because a couple of men one man in particular, Mr. Rosen on the History Commission, who was against having the Calhoun Monument go to LAXART for that special exhibition. He cited, if you have an unnuanced view on Calhoun, then it's unfair and all this other jazz. We're going to talk about the history of obstructionist government and why Calhoun is not just divisive because of his views on race, his views on the institution of slavery, but because of what he stood for in terms of how to maintain how to help architect and maintain white supremacy, especially in southern states. So we're going to talk about that. Okay.
Complex as perhaps the Republican.
Let me rewind a little bit.
This vote is not as complex as perhaps the Republican leader would like to make folks believe.
Not Romney.
It's pretty cut and dry. Does anyone in this chamber
El Cool J, we get into that one.
Find this behavior acceptable?
We get into that.
Would you allow depictions of violence against women, against colleagues?
Come on.
Would you allow that in your home?
And the fact that Nancy Mace couldn't summon the courage to vote no, to join, the fact that she wouldn't do that also demonstrates you're in a state where domestic violence is impacting women in a very profound and horrific way. And the fact that you wouldn't stand up, just go ahead and stand up and hey, this is not right. This is not right. Sometimes re-election ain't everything. Sometimes, I don't get this about politicians. I do get why they want to stay in office. Don't get me wrong. It's very obvious as to why an elected would want to stay in office. But we're at this really critical moment in history, and I feel like the Dems always fumble the bag. But I feel like it's more than just, you can probably create you could really solidify yourself politically by doing the right thing. And I don't mean in the annals of history. I mean in the now, in the here and now. you could really distinguish yourself and stand up against this foolishness. But she won't, especially coming from a state that's grappling with violence against women. That had the state where the district you're from, its main newspaper won a Pulitzer Prize because of its coverage of domestic violence in this state. And the lack of resources, the lack of advocacy. You've got men's groups, out here teaching men how to circumnavigate or not circumnavigate, how to sidestep laws and that are put in place to keep guns out the hands of people who've committed domestic violence. You've got all this stuff going on here, and here you go, Mace. This is your one shining moment to really stand up for women, and you can't because you participated in this type of behavior too.
Do you think this should happen on a school board? In a city council? In a church? And if it's not acceptable there, why should it be accepted here?
Oh, I don't want to hear him. He's weird to look at too. I ain't gonna lie, he's just weird to look at. El Cool J, you read because I had the TV on when this stuff was breaking, because watching, trying to keep up with whatever, Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever. And then I watched it live as it aired. Where is it? Gosar's like, Democracy Now! Did it. Gosar's sister, she been making the rounds. And she been speaking out how unfit her brother is. His whole family is like, we don't fuck with him. We don't fuck with him.
Republican Congressmember Paul Gosar faces censure for his posting of an animated video on social media where he murders Congressmember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay, they're going to show the video. I don't want to show it. But I think they showed stills. Is that Marjorie Taylor Greene too in there? Gross. I want to get to the part where the sister comes up here and be like, he's not. Yeah, Liz Cheney. Hold on. And it's not about political correctness. This was disgusting.
She joins us now from Seattle. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Jennifer Gosar. It's really important to have you with us. You are the youngest of 10. A sister of the Representative Paul Gosar.
Yeah, that's correct. There are 7. I've got 7 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm the youngest, and he is the eldest.
So tell us your reaction when you saw this animated video of your brother, posted by your brother, murdering Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Hey, Lisa, over there on Facebook.
I was incensed, to be honest with you, but I also felt like a bone-chilling fear because the way in which that murder takes place in the, quote, anime video, and let's be clear, there is no joking here.
No.
The AZ Mirror, some of the Arizona papers have done some really great reporting on this, and in fact, connected that same account to a 2016 anime version as well, which again hits that same anime cartoon. And again, like, this is something that is not a joke. But to be honest with you, the way in which that happens, that I found it bone chilling, honestly.
Yeah. And it keeps perpetuating this culture where it's okay and normalizing violence against women. It really is. It's bone chilling. Jennifer hit it out the park here. Nancy Mace is you and I gotta remember too. Nancy Mace she's known. She tried early on in her stint in Congress. She tried early on to do she wanted to, like, how you do, like, how the kids do to get clout. Like, they'll mention the name of somebody just to get you to respond so you can go back and forth. And she baited AOC in there a couple times. I think AOC kind of understands now, like, I'm pick and choose my spots with Mace. But remember, so what also factors into this to me is not only, Nancy Mace is trying to do that thing, that disingenuous thing she does, walking the tightrope in a swing district, but she's also staying true to her brand, which is anything AOC I gotta be against. So that's the other thing that's factoring in. How they vilified AOC, Pelosi, the squad, black women in general. And so if she did vote with Liz Cheney, and I forgot the second person. Let me see. Here we go. The House. But for her to cross party lines for anything, here we go. Yeah, Representative Adam Kinzinger, Wyoming. Did y'all drop that in the chat? And I just missed it. And Rep Liz Cheney. Those are the two that came, and Kinzinger is from Illinois. And so, yeah, they came over there. So it's just really a disingenuous move here. And she's not going to, I don't believe she'll cross the aisle with anything associated with AOC or anything that puts AOC in the position of, I guess, victimhood or whatever, even though she is a legitimate victim. All right, so let's go ahead. I want to go back a little bit. So that was Nancy Mace. We got her out the way. Her shenanigans. She ain't, she's really corny for that. Really, really, really corny. I'm glad that Annie responded as well. Dr. Annie Andrews responded. I'm gonna leave that up for a second. Let's get to, there was stunning news here. Justin Bamberg, we're gonna do a little quick news roundup before we get to Calhoun. So basically, this is a story in the New York Times. I didn't know it made the New York Times until this morning. But black man stomped by South Carolina officer will receive $650,000 in settlement. Y'all know how I feel about this being the new norm. Hey, black people, we're going to continue to visit violence upon you. We're still going to wreak havoc on your lives, but we're just going to pay you, close to $1 million in the aftermath. That practice to me is gruesome. I'm all for the families and victims of police violence getting some sort of financial restitution, but I hate that this is a reality. And I think people have become more comfortable with these outcomes. And we should never get comfortable. Money will never, ever take away or heal you completely from the trauma sustained at the hands of police. So, yeah, when man did not lie on the ground quickly because he has metal rods and pins in his leg and hip, an officer stomped on him on the back of his head. So let's get to it looks like Yahoo has a little video. Let's see if they got an ad play. No, let's go ahead and make this. Oh, they do have an ad. 30-second ad. That's a long one. Okay, so after this plays, we'll watch it. Let's read a little bit of the copy. Black man, this is AP. Black man stomped by South Carolina officer gets $650K. Again, Justin Bamberg, y'all know him. State rep, holding it down, does a lot of these cases. That's also interesting when he and Rutherford kind of weigh into these cases. That's how they kind of establish themselves. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, a warning, and I probably should have provided a warning, trigger warning, content warning. You'll see police violence. The bottom that's kind of covered up by my chyron says the following video contains graphic material.
Every time I look in the mirror, I see the scar on my forehead, and it's not okay.
It's not okay. Like, police are so unnecessarily aggressive. And it'd be like warrants, it'd be shoplifting, it'd be like things that ain't even like explicitly violent. It'd be, what I mean? They're pursuing somebody who's out on warrants, who, neglected to pay child support. I don't know. I don't know I can't remember the details regarding this case, but like the violence is just over the damn top. Like, y'all are not warriors. Y'all are out here like, y'all are not preventing no crime. Like, I just don't understand this. Wow. Says body camera footage shows former officer David Lance Dukes. Oh, David Dukes? David Lance Dukes stomping on Gaillard's head during an arrest. David Dukes. Unfortunate name. That's crazy. Officers were responding to a 911 call of a man carrying a firearm, but found no gun on Gaillard. He wasn't the right one. Y'all, like, police, please make sure we talk about police incompetence. Please make sure. Good morning, Miss Isom. Please make sure we talk more about police incompetence and police just like, not just misconduct, but their incompetence. Like, going through his pocket. Go ahead and look for the gun. David Dukes found no gun. Yeah, Kia. that? Like, Gaillard suffered a head injury and was taken to the hospital after the incident. Yeah, you have to add the middle name El Cool J. We're gonna call him David Dukes. Dukes was fired after a review by the South Carolina. Oh, Sled did the right thing? Yeah, because Sled, y'all catching L's like crazy. Like crazy L's. All right, David Dukes was fired after a review by SLED, Division Use of Force Committee. So aggressive. And I bet you the 911 call had mad descriptions. I bet you the 911 call is like, the man is wearing a white jumpsuit and the gun is visible out in his hand. Like, I bet you it had all the the assailant is probably somewhere running, laughing, not laughing because it's not a funny situation, probably running in the opposite direction. I bet you, because the 911 calls be having, like, they be telling the cops that's not him, wrong suspects. We don't talk about police incompetence and police error enough. But y'all know, y'all have heard some of those 911 calls, or when they release dash video and you hear the police radio say, this is not the wrong suspect. Yeah, that's a shame. Oh, I forgot my joke. Real quick, indulge me. We're going to kind of switch awkwardly back to Nancy Mace real quick, right? Real quick. Do y'all remember, here on chat specifically, all right, do y'all remember when I was trying to find a video that describes Nancy Mace's policy decisions, or like the way she votes, like the teeter, like especially when the bar is so low for us here in South Carolina that, and she does anything that resembles common sense, where like everyone rushes like, oh, I don't necessarily agree with the politics, but she did. I even had to stop doing that dumb shit, right? Like, oh, she talking right. I did that shit last year. I raised my hand. I was guilty of that shit. Until you realize what really is going on. Until some people kind of also put me up on game. Shout out to some really secret squirrels who sent me a whole cachet, a dossier, if you will, of Mace foibles. But remember, I was trying to pull up a video, right? Hey, Stephen, what'd you say? We're going to talk about excessive policing, whether my new colleagues want to or not. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. I know there's a little bit of a lag. Thank you. A little bit of a lag. Sorry, y'all. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So I remember, we need to talk about that. We got to talk about use of force. We never really addressed that. We're going to talk about that. But remember when I was talking about Nancy Mace and I was trying to like describe her decision making or her policy making, I was trying to look for a video and I found it. It was a comedy video. So going back to Mace real quick, teeter-tottering today, going back to Mace and how she's so like, one day she refuses to censor Gosar for something that's just blatantly just abhorrent. One day she's talking about Free Britney. One day she's talking about testing, she's on TMZ talking about, and it's like, it's probably disorienting to people. I'm loving that Stephen is getting so much recognition and so much favorable response in the chat. Let me see if I can find the video. Oh God, now I feel like I can't play this video because we're talking about police violence. I'm sorry. Susanna, you said in response to Stephen, you can tell them about the incompetence too. People thinking it's like CSI. It really isn't. These police are not out here CSIing it up, right? Yep. And y'all have a similar background, Susanna and Stephen do, in terms of being public defenders. PD. PD, no police department. Right? Yeah. So y'all have that distinction. All right. So yeah, if you ever want to, I'm gonna do this anyway. So if you ever want to like how I think of, let me see if I have it here. How I think of Nancy Mace's policy making, this sketch has nothing to do with politics, but to me it is exactly how I view Nancy Mace's policy. It has nothing to do with politics, like nothing.
Maybe you're interested in our special flavors this month. Here's some of Here's some of our favorites.
This is a parody sketch on like ice creams in LA. What's up, Nicole? This is how I feel like Nancy's policy making or her decisions strike me as this. Like initially, like, oh, ice cream, artisan ice cream. Like, oh, well, let's listen to these flavors. Listen to the flavors.
Maybe you're interested in our special flavors this month. Here's some of our favorites. Rose petal vanilla, lemon lavender, lavender spice, strawberry tomato with mossy mushroom chunks, green grass and gummy bears, vegetable oil and parsley, grilled onion marmite, burnt toast and berries, savory cantaloupe, watermelon beef jerky, ice cube, turmeric birthday cake, egg salad, Triscuits cheese and chive, hollandaise and rye bread, tomato vanilla, chipotle mayo, full English breakfast, Flora Farmhouse lemon drop, lemony Flora Farmhouse. Does that make sense? Yeah. Peppermint lavender flower garden.
To me, that's how like when it like initially like, oh, maybe this will be appetizing, but no, it's like no, these flavor combinations coming from Mace are hideous. Like I feel like that turmeric birthday. It's a 2-parter too. You gotta watch the other video. I forgot. I whatever. His shit was. It had me dying. I can't play reels because there's no sound on reels, on Instagram when I play from the desktop. But Jesus, they do 2-part. The first one was the one I was trying to download. I think his name is oh shit. I gotta block this dude. Let me see. Unfollow. Yeah. Ugh. He blocked me on Twitter. I used to date this dude in college, and he blocked me on Twitter last month. Isn't that crazy? All right, let me see. Let me see. No, I can't find it. All right, let me stay focused. All right, boom. All right, so, all right. Let me get to the next story. So we did the Justin Bamberg piece. Again, it made the New York Times. So that was really, really, really gnarly. This happened in Orangeburg, but we, again, as y'all have lifted up, we've got to continue to talk about use of force. It's something that I've been talking about at length, especially since the audit came out. And we know that Charleston Police Department does not do a great job archiving videos that would show use of force. And you've seen that they've engaged in a practice where they've released edited, highly edited, narrated videos to tell their side of the story, which is a horrible practice and is not transparent, even though they say the word transparency like 3 times in the videos that they release. But yeah, I'm glad that this case was printed in the New York Times or at least published by the New York Times, at least on the digital versions. But this is crazy. And this should not be the new norm. It shouldn't be the new norm where we just accept these outcomes as long as they're getting paid. No, we need police to stop acting like this is a war zone. And if there's a call of a man getting a man with a gun, look for the man with the gun. Be sensible in your approach. Don't just come out there, literally with guns blazing, right? All right. So I wanted to get to the other thing I want to talk about, of course, is the Calhoun Monument. So y'all know, let me pull up this story. No, we'll pull up the PDF versions. So here we go. We'll get to the Kennedy stuff last. You love my tea, Kia? I'll be telling on myself. That dude whack. I could tell. Ooh, I don't want to talk about my business. All right. So Charleston removed Calhoun statue. Now comes blah 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 because they cut off the headline. So this is the post. This is actually a published piece from the state newspaper, right? On a humid summer night in the middle of the pandemic, during a national moment of racial reckoning, that wasn't leaders in this old port city last year all agreed it was time to evict a statue of John C. Calhoun from its elevated place of honor. The Calhoun Monument's undoing would take more than 17 hours. I was there for most of it, getting hoarse, right? It would take more than 17 hours as crews struggle to detach the lower detach and lower the towering testament to the state's a towering testament to the nation's 7th vice president and one of the 19th century's most influential defenders of slavery. Yet more than a year after the 12-foot, 8-inch statue, I thought it was much larger than that. But more than a year after the 12-foot, 8-inch statue was placed on a flatbed of a semi-truck and hauled away, Charleston is still struggling to define Calhoun. They're not struggling; they know what he is. Charleston is still. I would use it for phrase. They would still refuse to acknowledge who he really is. But anyway, they say here, Charleston is still struggling to define Calhoun, his legacy, and how the city thinks America should view South Carolina now. Okay, the past is complicated. The past is complicating a possible future for Calhoun. So let me see if I can find some video coverage. Close that out. Let's see if I got something. No, not that. No. What we have here, this is the History Commission though, right?
Second.
So they convened on Wednesday in the article. I want to continue to read the article because it's important to help you understand what went on, because we're not going to be able to watch this 1 hour and 47-minute video. But I want you to pay, let me make it a little larger. So this is, you got two members or two colleagues of the LAXART, LAXART gallery, I believe it is. This dude right here, Arvo Redenbacher right here with the bow tie. Yeah, he got on my nerves. And I believe Harry Griffin joins them later. I think Harry Griffin comes. There he is. Yeah, there's Harry. Harry Griffin joins them later, right? And of course, he proposed, let's just slow it down. Whatever, right? But let's get back to the piece real quick. All right. So the past is complicating the possible future. In an almost 2-hour meeting on Wednesday, the City of Charleston's History Commission wrestled with a request from 2 art curators who want to include the 3-ton statue in a Los Angeles art exhibit. The exhibit is slated for 2022. Will display decommissioned decommissioned Confederate and Civil War monuments that have come down since 2015 amid America's racial reckoning that wasn't, over which symbols should be honored in the public square. The proposal was met with a stream of questions from commission members who decides what is said about Calhoun and the monument. There's a question: which scholars are involved in the project? Will the monument be treated with respect? Wow, like what? That ain't my priority. That one ain't my priority. That one, that's not my priority. But I guess if you're a defender of these monuments, I get you saying that. So Hamza Walker, the art curator who presented the idea to the History Commission over the Zoom meeting, emphasized that the art show is not about shaming the South. Right? The exhibition is about soul searching. The soul searching we have to do as a country. It did not convince commission member Robert Rosen. So this is what Rosen says. Rosen says there are people living in Charleston whose ancestors raised the money to build this and saw Calhoun differently. Who gives a fuck? Who saw Calhoun differently than some other people see him. Just say black people. Even though we know black people were largely involved in the creation of the statue, it was because it ain't like they had mad choices and shit. All right, Rosen said later, adding, so I'm really not on board, with this whole political correctness. Let's shame everybody. Ooh, does that sound familiar? Does that sound like anti-mask rhetoric creeping into this discussion? Right? Let's shame everybody. And remember, Walker says explicitly this is not about shaming the South. During his presentation, Walker tried to make the case that this exhibit in Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art would be of national importance. He said it would be an opportunity to create space for civil and honest exchange in an increasingly divisive time. Then Walker pleaded, we can't do it without you. This is the part that really got me. He's saying, we can't do this without you. We can't heighten this level of discourse without you. Calhoun concerns resurface. for now, the commission in Charleston has decided to delay. Thanks, Harry. To delay its vote on the curator's request. Right. This is. I mean, they're actually following the tradition of Calhoun, who was an obstructionist. So they decided to delay the vote on the curator's request. The group said that it would take at least a month to get more information about the exhibit. So they're just going to stall them out. How the Calhoun statue fits into the art show and whether it's suitable temporary home. This is the kicker, though, y'all. This is the kicker. Don't nobody want this statue. They don't nobody want this. I'm gonna kind of go down to the bottom real quick, and nobody wants this statue. I'm trying to find the part where it says, like, they tried to give it to the museum in Columbia and they were like, nah. They tried to give it to some other places in the state. They were like, nah, we good. But you won't give it to the one place that's asking you for it. You're like, I don't know. Yeah, let me see. Okay, let me just go back. This is a long article. All right. So for now, the commission decided to delay the exhibit. Okay. However, the initial and wary reception the proposal has received underscores how difficult it may be for the city to find a permanent home for the bronze statue that towered over Marion Square for nearly 124 years. Right. Okay. So let's go to the meeting. I see y'all in the chat. I got you. Right. I just saw your comment, Lisa, if you're still watching. Oh, that's a badge of honor. All right. All right, so let's go back to the video real quick.
Any discussion? Okay, great. Since some of us are visual and some of us are, if we can let's see if we can raise our hands and talk at the same time. So if we can raise our hands and say, time.
All right, let's get to it. Let's see. I think they're doing roll call or something. Wow. I didn't see this. Where am I looking? I'm looking for, I think, here. So this is Hamza. This is Mr. Hamza Walker from LAXART. And you have Hannah Burstein up here, also from LAXART. You got Harry Griffin here at the bottom. I think I want to share this. There we go. Okay. So let me go back to my remarks here. Sorry for that. In essence, this exhibition is about the soul searching we have to do as a country. And this was made painfully clear on, let's see, just switch over to this now. Sorry about that. This was made painfully clear on Wednesday, June 17th of 2015. And this is Dylan Root. So this morning in my email, the newsletter that goes out to kind of tell y'all what I'm going to be talking about today, and also in the little teaser that goes out on Twitter, I referred to, and I will continue to refer to, the Calhoun Monument as a hate symbol. It is just that. It was actually constructed to loom over Black people. It was elevated to its high height because Black people kept fucking it up. People kept vandalizing the statue because they knew what it meant, right? So there was never any confusion. There was never any lack of controversy associated with this statue in its first rendering and in its final rendering. It was never just controversy free. It was always intended to be a symbol of hate. It was always intended, if you read Denmark VC's Garden, you know this already. It was always intended to loom over Black people as a threat. It's no coincidence that the Calhoun Monument also shares a common area with the Citadel, which was designed to police Black movement in the city and to also put down any type of insurrection or rebellion, and not just the Denmark VC rebellion, all kinds of rebellion and resistance, right? A whole police force created, a whole military created to police and restrict the movements of Black people. There's no coincidence that statue looms, and in its shadow was the Citadel, right? That's no coincidence. It's a hate symbol, right? And so what I really don't understand is, in a post Dylan Roof Charleston, while we are still participating in this faux hand wringing and this deliberation, you know what it means. It's not your best moment, boo. Go find some highlights from the American Revolution or some shit. This is not your proudest moment. I know y'all like lifting up the Civil War, even though y'all lost. Y'all lift up y'all L a lot. But how, you could argue Charleston played more of a role, not more of, but played a significant role in the American Revolution. They don't even talk about that history, right? Is a reason why the white power structure in Charleston gloms on to these hate symbols and won't let them go. And the same symbols that energize and radicalize Dylann Roof, you're protecting because you're saying we're not nuanced, as if we can't read books. As if we can't read newspaper articles from that era that clearly show us what this statue was all about, right? As if. So I'm always protective and very leery of when people use the imagery that comes of Mother Emanuel. In this case, I feel it's appropriate because it reminds Charleston that, hey, you had this hate crime happen, this really big hate crime happen. Yet how much has changed in the way we talk about race, discuss race. Right. This is why I'm also hard on the Charleston Forum. Started out after Mother Emanuel, and now we're talking about police and prosecution when we should be talking about white supremacy and how it's upheld in this city. But you want to talk about police and prosecution, and you want to talk to Scarlett, and you want to talk to Chick-fil-A Chief Reynolds. Right. We always do this. We let the conversation become hijacked by either lack of memory or something else. Right. Joy, earlier in the chat, Joy, you said on Twitch, you said he brings up his ancestors who raised money for the statue. I bet he thinks black folks should get over slavery. Absolutely. Hypocrite, for sure.
Proof, as you are probably all aware. And again, it was made painfully clear August 12th, 2017.
Come on.
This is the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville.
So this really pissed off Rosen.
And it was made painfully clear on May 25th, 2020. In Minneapolis with the murder of George Floyd.
You didn't need to show that, though. You didn't need to show that.
So the goal of the project is to mark what is an historic moment. On a biographical note, I did not expect to see Confederate monuments taken down in my lifetime.
Me neither.
These same sentiments apply to our having elected a black president. But I want to be precise, more precise about what I mean by historic. When referring to epic events, we talk about making history. Okay. But this is not what I mean. By historic moment, I mean a moment when we are made aware of the fact that we are living through history.
Yep.
This is a moment when we are made conscious of the ways and degrees to which we are connected to the past.
Okay, being that we pretty much can probably draw conclusions as to how another Dylann Roof. We can draw conclusions as to like some of his argument, and we'll continue to read a little bit from the article that captures a lot of Mr. Walker's quotes. But in the interest of time, I'm going to try to speed through this. I have not watched the entire thing, but I want to kind of look at some of the powerful images that he presented with. If you remember from the reporting that I read real quick, it says that for now the commission has decided. Wait, before that, right. All right, hold on. Right. So remember, Mr. Hamza Walker, who we just heard from, he said this. He said, okay, so the art curator who presented the idea to the History Commission over Zoom meeting emphasized that the art show is not about shaming the South. The exhibition is about soul searching, he said. And then the reporter writes, it did not convince the commission member Rosen. So it's just, to me, amazing how these compelling images, this presentation, even after all these images,
AME
didn't convince
in Charleston,
Mr.
And
Rosen.
For that reason, alone, having Charleston in the exhibition is of utmost importance. It is not only, the start of things on two counts. One would be the first shots fired for the Civil War.
Come on.
And the second would be the tragedy and the massacre at Emanuel AME.
Okay.
In terms of, again, the beginning of the first.
So let's go.
Reverting these feet at the bottom, 1861, 1865. But these are water fountains. And I think it would have been clear in terms of who could drink at those water fountains and the meaning of the segregated water fountain. So the connection between the Confederate monument and the
time if they want to make a motion. But again, since some of us are visual, some of us are not, If people know how to use if people know how to put the questions, in the chat, we can do it that way. If people want to raise their hands,
Mr. Roseny'all's in the middle right there with the bow tie.
Either through an icon or through actually visually raising their hand. I'll try to keep track of who has the question first and call people in order. And also, too, if you're on the phone and have a question.
Okay. Come on.
Interested to know.
Okay, here we go.
Who the people.
So, Mr. Rose, I want to hear him talk real quick, and then we're going to transition.
When you say a scholarly publication, I would be interested to know who the people are who are writing about this subject. I got a couple of names from the letter who were involved, but I want to say this as carefully as I can.
Please, with a smile on his face.
A notable roster of scholars really doesn't impress me.
Well, this was
because there's some notable scholars, so-called, who have been writing a lot of, shall we say, unacceptable, unfactual, politicized history. I'll just leave it at that. So when we say you're going to have a, quote, scholarly publication, excuse me for feeling a little concerned about exactly who these people will be. Can you enlighten us on that?
I think, too, what's important, this might be a little boring for some people. I think y'all, the ones who are really engaged in this, you get it. This is how white supremacy continues to be. This is how white men specifically who are so married to, a racist past and racist relics and hate symbols, right? Who want to continue to tell us that no, the flag is about heritage, not hate. Even though flag went on top of the State House during the Civil Rights Movement, not during actual following the Civil War, nothing like that. Like they keep kind of gaslighting us. They know they keep gaslighting us into thinking that these symbols don't mean what they mean. And to have him, and I'm not going to be ageist at all, but to have him sit there and impugn the integrity of the scholars. And I know I give my little spicy commentary too on who wrote what and so on and so forth. But you having someone take the time to carefully create a presentation to outline what the event would look like, you get it. It's gonna feature conversations that are gonna fall all over the place. But yet you want to impugn the integrity of not just the scholars, but of the curator who assembled, perhaps who helped assemble the scholars that will participate in this exhibition. As this country just continues to change, I really want to know how these men like this will adapt to when they become so fucking irrelevant. Like it just like no one cares about your racist granddaddy. No one cares.
Sure.
No one thinks he's special.
I mentioned that there will be a number of angles that we'll be approaching.
El Kujay, you might be right.
There are a number of art historians. Off the top of my head, Sarah Beetham is one who's written, and I'll use her as an example.
Oh my gosh. Let me get back to Rosen. He defended himself. He don't even let me see if Mr. Rosen keeps talking. Oh no, Mr. Wilmot Frazier. Ooh, because he had a great quote in the paper. Let's get to him.
How this statuary will be interpreted. Your presentation gave us some insight into that, and I was gratified to know what your approach would be.
Look at Rosen is smiling when Mr. Wilmot Frazier had favorable comments to say about the presentation. He's kind of smiling. I will say also too, what I observed about this that's problematic. I don't know if there's just more members who just weren't in attendance, but where are the black women? Where are the black women? Where are more black people? And that's problematic, right? So these two right here from LAXART, this is a sitting city council person, not for long. And then you have like these older white folks. Where are the young people? Where are the younger people engaged?
Because all of these statutes were meant to.
I think I'm gonna try to get on this commission. I think this is a new goal for me is to get on this commission.
Aggrandize very, very evil ideas. And we certainly didn't, I certainly would not be supportive of anything that would perpetuate that kind of storytelling or that kind of imagery or the strength of that kind of imagery. You said you don't want to put anyone down, but in a sense, when you look at these works,
wait a minute,
which were meant to aggrandize folk who were dehumanizing other folk, we have to call a spade a spade.
Absolutely.
And, and I think that we have to look at who these figures really were, what they believed. You know, I'm a folklorist and historian, so I look at things from the popular point of view. When I say popular, I mean from the art of the people point of view, in their storytelling, in their folk life, actual material objects that they produced. So I was wondering to what extent folklore and folk life would be a part of this exhibit. And I also wanted to know how you intend to tie in to local museums. There's an International African Museum afoot here in Charleston.
That's an interesting question. So I'm in the interest of time, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit.
And put in looking at a predominantly Black neighborhood. And so, the local population would respond to that. And so when Hamza started the presentation, he spoke about how, though this is a national issue, it's made up of localities. And I think something that's really important to both of us is really telling all those stories of the way that the people who live in these communities interact with these objects and what they've meant to them. And that absolutely includes the Black populations in those places, and how their feelings on these types of objects haven't always been at the forefront.
That explains something.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if Mr. Rosen has some more comments, or Mr. Griffin. I'm glad that they gave Mr. Fraser a lot of leeway here. Oh, look at this. It's Angela Mack. Okay. I like Angela Mack. She served on the History and Culture Commission, the Special Commission. She works for the Gibbs. The Gibbs is problematic AF, but let's hear what she has to say.
This group and the city have an opportunity to see the actual scholars that you choose to write the various chapters in the catalog. It would also be helpful to know your final selection of artists that are going to create new works are you pairing the artists with
So that's going to be interesting, because I don't think that they'll actually say yes, right? Let me go back to the article, and then we're going to go back to who Calhoun really is, because that's where I really want to land this part. So let's go back to the article, right? Because this will help us sum up what that whole commission. Please, and I invite y'all to please go and watch the hearing however you can. Like, you want to start it, put it on the background while you're starting some laundry, whatever. It's an hour and 47 minutes, almost 2 hours, right? So I already read the part that they said it did not convince Robert Rosen. Yada, yada, yada. Calhoun concerns surface. For now, commission decided to delay the vote. Harry Griffin, just so y'all know, was very much in favor of delaying the vote, delaying action. The group said that it will take at least a month to get more information about the exhibit. I'm going to skip to this paragraph. However, the initial and wary reception the proposal has received underscores how difficult it may be for the city to find a permanent home for the bronze statue. And it's bronze. I guess my analogy this morning didn't work out because it's not stone, but whatever. We got it. We get it. Y'all get it. Y'all get it when I said stone cringe instead of, okay, anyway. Anyway, I digress. All right. It's a permanent home for the bronze statue that towered over Marion Square for over 124 years. I'm going to skip to this paragraph. Commission member David McCormick said he had heard enough. Reading from his notes, McCormick said he does not want the Calhoun statue to become a pawn in the hands of people and organizations over which the city has no control and therefore would not support the request. All right, we know what that, that is. Let me see what that is. El Cool J over here in the chat here on Twitch, you offered up that there's a graveyard in your neighborhood. Some Confederate group comes in twice a year to take care of it and do a reenactment of some sort. Can't quit it. Can't quit it. I looked at the tombstones. Half of them are post-Civil War. Very strange. One thing they're gonna do, they're gonna be ahistorical. They're not gonna be historically accurate. Right? Hence my book club a couple years ago, right? All right, so Mr. McCormick is out. So he said, nope, of course, right? So like him or not, this is what he says, like him or not, John C. Calhoun was and is one of the most important South Carolinians. He wasn't even a South Carolinian, y'all. He was, but he wasn't. One of the most important South Carolinians in our state's history and one of the most influential Americans in the 19th century. Yet the current view of him, look, the current view of him largely ignores his accomplishments and focuses myopically on one issue, slavery, right? This is so fucking funny that you would say this out your mouth. Out your mouth. This is McCormick. So let me read that again, because this is really like him or not, John C. Calhoun was and is one of the most important South Carolinians in our state's history. I mean, they act like Daddy Kane don't exist. They act like Robert Smalls don't exist. They act like indigenous tribes didn't exist. All I wanted to say is he's the most important South Carolinian to you, not to me, to you. Remember, the conqueror always writes history. They came, they conquered, and so they wrote. Marion McKeeba, right? The conqueror writes history. He's only important to you and to those who are invested in the white power structure because to you, he embodies your values. That to you, and because y'all wrote the books, the Daughters of the Confederacy wrote the textbooks that put him in. He definitely vice president. I'm not denying that. There's a bunch of vice presidents, all right. And he did factor in prominently. I'm not trying to be dishonest about Calhoun's legacy or his contributions, but let's stop acting like there aren't a bunch of really, really fucked up people who also share similar distinctions of holding high office. Shit, President Andrews following Lincoln, an avowed racist. He was the president. So what? We got to build statues to him. We got to honor him. He was a horrible racist. Okay, Donald Trump was president. Well, okay. To you, your history, right? It says, yet the current view of him largely ignores his accomplishments. Fuck your accomplishments. Fuck your racist grandpappy. All right, he said, concluding that he believes the exhibit will continue to propagate this unnuanced. This is my favorite part. This unnuanced. I can't. Why won't let me? This unnuanced view of Calhoun. Okay, so this was funny because Walker fired back. Mr. Hamza Walker fired back and said, the fact that he was pro-slavery and foreshadowed the Civil War is, I would say, is pretty big. Walker fired back, his voice rising up to laugh, to cut the note of tension on the call. And this exhibit is the occasion where we want to open that up, right? Right? During the presentation, Walker described Calhoun as the man as a complicated figure, and Calhoun, the statue, as a complicated piece. I guess. All right. And a sign of how fraught these monuments have remained over their removal, Walker said it would be easier. Listen to this part, y'all. It would be easier for me to contact a museum in Italy to borrow old masterwork than it is for him to call municipalities like Charleston about their controversial statues. That's bananas. All right, so let's revisit who Calhoun was. I'm gonna go back to this. Y'all know I referred. Y'all need to go back and watch this. This is over an hour. This is over 2 hours long. This is the 1619 when they rolled out the 1619 project. They had a huge program. This is before the pandemic, and I thought this was really, really cool. This is almost like
them tonight. So
this is a very important part. So Hannah, you see Hannah Nicole right here. And so next is going to be Jamel Bowie, who also writes for the New York Times, and he really breaks it down.
I'm going to start with you, Jamel. Your essay is about our modern political system, and I imagine many of us are trying to grapple with where we are in America. And of course, lots of Black folks were like, telling white.
Why can't we have programming like this that centers Black people, right? I just, let me let it play.
People, welcome to the America we've been living in for a long time.
Yeah, it didn't start with Trump.
I really love your essay, and it really helps us explain how we got here. Right. And I'd love for you to talk to us a little bit about it right now.
Sure. So I cover politics most of the time, and the thing you asked about and the thing I sort of honed in on was obstruction. American politics right now, and for the last 10 years, has been defined by sort of a hyper-obstructionism. And there are some obvious links to slavery. You can look to the Electoral College, you can look to the Senate, even institutions that in the antebellum period empowered slave owners and kind of created a culture, an obstructionist culture that could manifest itself at times. But I wanted to go a little deeper than that and think about sort of the ideological basis of the obstructionism we've been seeing for the last 10 years, because it's distinct. It isn't just we want to stop the other side from doing stuff. It involves arguments about the legitimacy of the other side. It involves claims about the legitimacy of national majorities.
So we saw it. We heard that with Rosen. Rosen was like, I don't know about the scholars that you are in community with, Mr. Hamza Walker. Well, I'm going to impugn your integrity and your ability to put together a sound event with integrity, right? I don't know about your scholars, and Mr. McCormick kind of echoed the same sentiments. You're trying to discredit some. We got into this place where we just out and out discredit people we don't believe or that we don't agree with. Like, we just discredit them, take away all credibility. And of course, I think both sides participates in that, and that's something I try not to participate in. Like with the ivermectin conversation, right? I think the left really dropped the ball on that and not being completely honest about ivermectin, even though, like I told you, I ain't taking nothing but what, I'm gonna listen to Fauci. That's me. But I digress. But you hear that didn't just happen, y'all, is my point. This didn't just happen with Trump. Definitely, you could look at Newt Gingrich. You could look at, what's her name, Sarah Palin, Tea Party, where we really started seeing this ramp up. But we need to look at the great, 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 great racist granddaddy that is Mr. John C. Calhoun.
Most Americans might want this thing, but because that majority doesn't consist of the right kind of people, it's not a legitimate majority.
Come on.
And you see that kind of thinking, that kind of sort of obstructionist opposition to majorities, this belief that that small distinct minorities have not just a right to input and a right to shape the final outcome, but a right to veto outcomes that they do not think they don't agree with. That's a product of slavery. That's a product of sort of the political culture of slaveholders in the antebellum United States. And so the guy I spent a lot of time on is John C. Calhoun, who's a terrifying man. As you can see, he looks not well. He's poisoned by racism.
Being an enslaver will really, it'll do it.
Yeah, slavery will fuck up that skin
in so many ways.
And hair.
Not a great skincare regime going on there. But Calhoun is interesting because he is sort of an intellectual. He's a planter intellectual, and he helps lead the South in developing kind of an anti-majoritarian ideology and position against the North, against sort of mounting anti-slavery sentiment. And what I find so interesting about Calhoun is that his theories of concurrent majority, meaning that for a proper majority, the way it works is that every single constituent part signs off on it. And if that doesn't happen, then the constituent part can say, no deal, nothing's going to happen. This kind of approach to politics, this very reactionary, anti-majoritarian approach, it basically, but it sort of drives the energy towards the Civil War, right? It is, secession happens in part because the South is convinced that unless it can control the federal government in its entirety, it cannot protect slavery. And after the war, this way of thinking doesn't actually die off. It kind of just persists. And even as it becomes attenuated from slavery, it still becomes a part of American reactionary politics, of racially reactionary politics. And I think you can make a pretty good case that in the present today, the efforts to restrict the electorate to just white people, the efforts to reshape and restructure American democracy to favor low-populated, small rural areas, the whole census question thing that happened in the past couple months, that reflects Calhoun's influence on American politics. And so
imagine having this kind of high-level conversation about Calhoun, like about the theories that he espoused and how those theories and how that framework that he established is still very much being used by the Mitch McConnells. We saw last night McCarthy, he took up a lot of time. He's trying to stymie the Build Back Better legislation, right? We've seen this type of obstructionist way of governing that it's not even governing, right? They're not getting anything done. They're just blocking, left-leaning legislation at every turn. Just imagine if we can have that conversation. Like, even if you're the biggest Calhoun fan, won't you lift this? Like, be honest. Like, this is him. This is his fingerprints are all over this practice. Call it out. But imagine having this level of conversation about his theories, about the framework that he architected, as opposed to just having a lower level of discourse that only talks about like the broad strokes, which is of course slavery being a positive good, all that other bullshit. But we don't talk about that. And my question is, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? The South, like the one thing about moving to the South in my adult years, in my 30s, and now I'm 41 Savage, right? Oh wait, hold up. The one thing that I kind of lost sight of until I moved back to Charleston was how protective or even insecure the people who uphold white supremacy and white supremacist symbols, how insecure they are about like third-party perception, like how the South is being perceived. Now, a lot of that spills over to anybody with a Southern accent, like my mama, black people, all kinds of people, right? But it's something about these white power structures that were born of the South that they're so insecure about because they know. I think what informs their insecurity is the fact that we know that this is a shameful past. And even though you've done your damnedest to rewrite history with the help of the Daughters of the Confederacy, even though we know you really worked hard to reframe and to whitewash and omit the worst atrocities, the fact still remains that this is your past. So what are you afraid of? Calhoun was racist, and I think that like I know what's his name, Will Forks or whatever his name, Forks, whatever at Fitz News. He likes to talk about how the Confederate flag doesn't mean you're racist, or yes it does. That's a hate symbol. You'll see that at a Nazi rally. You'll see that over in Europe at skinhead rallies. Yes it is. It was all up and through the Capitol when they stormed the Capitol. Dylan Roof was energized and radicalized by it. You put that flag up over the top of the State House dome during the height of the Civil Rights Movement. You goddamn right. That means if you embrace that flag, you goddamn right you're a racist. And the white people just really refuse to unpack their internalized white supremacy because no one wants to feel like a villain. I get that. I get that from a human standpoint, but it is what it is, right? B-Man, you dropped in the chat over here on Twitch. You said Calhoun represents the oppressive systems that still exist today. Anti-blackness is baked into our culture. Almost all the great freedom fighters of this country were and are black and indigenous and women and other people of color, right? We will know we've made progress when our collective culture starts recognizing and lifting up those that fight systems of oppression in a service of the masses. Appreciate it. Joy, you dropped in the chat here on Twitch. So an old bronze statue is held in higher regard than, I don't know, human black lives in South Carolina. Right? I ain't even gonna try to say this word with my braces. Anthropomorphize. I can say it in my head. I can't say anthropomorphize a piece of metal / a symbol of supremacy and project themselves onto it. They really do. They really do. Oh, yeah. I gave him the horn. He should have got.
Now listen.
B-Man.
That's called motherfucking bars.
So he gets the bars as well. So let me hop out. Okay, so awkward. Oh no, I want to. Oh my God, y'all, I got to get to the good part about this statue. This is the funny part. So the History Commission is like, no, we don't trust what you're gonna do. You're gonna make this a liberal thing. You're going to L.A., California. Right? Oh no. If you would have said Alabama or Mississippi, we would have been okay with that. But you said LA, where all the liberals live. I don't trust it at all. So you don't want the statue to go there, right? You don't want the statue to go. Let me get to the part that really made me laugh. Right. Hold on. Let me see. Because this is a long piece here. Harry Griffin in here doing hairy stuff. I don't care about that. Oh, no. Where is it at? Hold on. It's in here. Right, here we go. This made me laugh. Charleston, meanwhile, has struggled to find a new home for its Calhoun Monument, permanent or otherwise. So you won't let LA take it, but don't nobody else want this bitch. All right. Rosen said the city had hoped the monument will find a new and appropriate display in either the South Carolina State Museum, the South Carolina State Museum in Columbia, or I thought it was going to the Charleston Museum. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to get it in there. I don't know if they got to take it, break it up and put it back together. I don't know, but I was like, oh, it's going to go to the Charleston Museum. But yeah, so far though, there have been no takers. Oh yeah. About the History Commission convening, I'm glad that they had this conversation. I'm glad it's accessible. I really do wish that it was that the public could have, like, in real time offered up critique or offered up comments, right? I really wish that. I really, really do. All right, so I'm looking at the time. Okay. So I'm gonna close. No, let me just close. Let me reduce it. So now what I want to do is switch up. Let me close out these tabs. Switch up to a story that I talked about yesterday, but I didn't go into great length about. Oh yeah, let me leave that up because I want to get to this tab, which is the Lou Kennedy of Nephron Pharmaceuticals, the Lou Kennedy resignation. I really wanted to talk about this, so I'm going to swerve the car a little bit. All right, so I don't need that. Here we go. Let's watch this piece here. This is from WIS 10. What's that? That's Richland County, WIS. All right, ad.
Unlimited with 5G.
11-second ad. That's not too bad, right? So I talked about this a little bit briefly. I posted about this in my stories, but we're gonna go in.
Xfinity Mobile with the internet. It's so good, it keeps one-upping itself.
Okay.
Well, a member of the University of South Carolina's Presidential Search Committee has resigned. Lou Kennedy is the CEO of Nephron Pharmaceuticals Corporation and a graduate of the University of South Carolina. She sent a letter to the Board of Trustees on Monday saying that she was told her invitation to be a part of the search committee was a courtesy, and she said the comment was unacceptable.
It was demeaning.
And I felt like it didn't allow me to bring the qualities that I think that I bring to the table.
I mean, I'm a millionaires, and I made a lot of money during the pandemic selling inhalers that have no links to actual therapies approved by the FDA that would actually help people during a pandemic where a viral infection could lead to respiratory distress. But I wanted to profit off the fears and concerns of people, and I made a bunch of inhalers and sold a bunch and made millions for a lot of white folk. And I don't understand why that didn't buy me more access to decision making. My millions mean more to me than anything.
And the reason I was asked to the effort at large.
According to Kennedy's resignation letter, the Board of Trustees chairman has since apologized for that statement. Kennedy says that she acknowledged his apology, but still signed her resignation letter.
Good. Be mad. So what we saw on Twitter, I'm glad I left Twitter up. So what we saw on Twitter was like this response. And I talked about this in my Instagram stories, right? I talked about how, let me just go profile. Girl, get it together. Get it together, girl. All right. So let me go to my likes. Oh, wait, this might be problematic. No, it might be problematic. Let me see. No. Oh, God, it is. Hold up. I'm going to go to... Mandy Norrell Powers. Her tweet was like what I responded to. Well, was what is what Paul Bowers responded to. Hold on one second. Come on. Let's see. Jesus, I should have just had this up. Sorry, y'all. Jesus Christ. All right, Mika, come on. Where is her? Sorry, y'all. I need an intern. Lord. Hold up. I'm trying to find this tweet. What's this? Who's that? All right, hold up real quick. Let me find this. Let me get serious. All right. Why is it so hard? Tweets and replies. So with the reaction to here it is. So Maya Schechter from the state newspaper, she posted this like a caption from the story, and there was a lot of response like, oh my God, good for her. She should, girl boss, like a lot of that kind of like faux feminism stuff kind of crept out. And then so Mandy, a Democrat, y'all, who lost her race. This was a sneaky loss that we didn't see coming during the presidential election cycle. She lost her seat because she's up in the upstate. So you talk about both sides. Yikes, right? So she actually commended Lou Kennedy. She actually commended, like, hey, it says, I met Lou Kennedy during the gubernatorial campaign in 2018. It says, I think our politics may differ. Look at this. I think our politics may differ, but my admiration for her has been constant. So she just wants access to money. She's telling you that she's going to fundraise her, right? And I love the response from Paul Bowers immediately. I had not known about this piece. Paul Bowers writes, nah, love it. Love a response. And then he includes the Root article. I start screenshotting the Root article and including it. And so my whole response to this is like, especially teaching these giving projects, right? My response is like, when we talk about capitalism, we talk about how millionaires and billionaires leverage their money to buy votes, to buy influence, and we really kind of dig deep into that. And I felt like Miss whatever the disrupt, it might have been some very valid reason why she stepped down too. I don't want to ignore that completely, but what I seen from her and Darla Moore is this like, hey, I got these millions, you should listen to everything I say. But what I loved about this piece from Michael Harriot, South Carolina native, Michael Harriot for The Root, this piece, I didn't know about this, but Paul must have some sort of Googler set up. But anyway, he wrote this, in the coronavirus economy, somehow Trump's friends keep getting richer. And I think this is something that should be highlighted. Like, yeah, you stepped down, but is it a loss? Like, let's look at your politics. And I do think your politics matters when it comes to choosing the next president of USC. All right. So as a deadly coronavirus crept its way across America, unimpeded by the Trump administration, on February 13th, 24 days after the first case hit the United States, hit the U.S., Vice President Pence attended a Trump victory campaign fundraiser, right, at the sparkling new high-tech facilities of Nephron Pharmaceuticals in Case, South Carolina. Lou Kennedy, Nephron's statuesque blonde multimillionaire owner, who hosted the private fundraiser, has a somewhat mixed reputation in South Carolina. All right, so I was just really taken aback by the response of people like Mandy, Democrat. She's probably just trying to keep the fundraising doors open. And this bullshit ass quote was just horrible. A woman who does not require validation from anyone is the most feared individual in the planet. Get the fuck out of here. She ain't no martyr, no hero. Calm down. And like they tweet stuff, not thinking that we have access to the internet or to journalism or to like pieces that look into Ben Navarro, look into Anita Zucker, right? Look into these people, how they made their millions and how they continue to make their millions, right? So put the Trump shit aside. Put the okay, she did a fundraiser for Trump. Put that to the side for a second. All right. While she has been praised for supplementing the income of hundreds of teachers in the state, offering them $21 per hour part-time jobs at her drug manufacturing, they come with benefits. Drug manufacturing, that's crazy. Hey, I know you've been a slave for the state, teachers. Why don't you come over and be a slave for me? All right. Anyway, offering them $21 an hour part-time jobs at her drug manufacturing company. Many accused Kennedy of taking advantage of South Carolina's strict anti-union laws and limiting employees' hours to avoid paying full benefits, right? Workers have complained about how Nephron treats employees, calling it the worst place in South Carolina to work for, saying it has no integrity and no ethics, no respect for people. Before the company relocated to South Carolina, the Food and Drug Administration cited Kennedy's business for significant violations of current good manufacturing practice, CGMP regulations for finished pharmaceuticals. Look, she's been cited by the FDA. I know she hates regulation, but as a staunch supporter of conservative causes, Kennedy is a beloved member of the MAGA Nation. According to Federal Elections Committee records, she has donated more than $125,000 to Republican campaigns and political organizations since 2015, including Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, infamous Joe Wilson, who screamed "You lied" during President Obama's State of the Union address, but has since been curiously silent about his fellow, this is old, okay, whatever. All right, this is written in 2020, y'all. So Kennedy's generosity had earned her meetings with Trump and other senior administration officials, including his daughter Ivanka and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Yikes, right? So it on says, now the coronavirus pandemic is making Kennedy richer. Nephron already makes inhalers and respiratory medications and has seen orders more than double since the coronavirus outbreak. And on Tuesday, the National Association of Manufacturers reported that Nephron has asked federal regulators, including the FDA, for permission to open up 6 new lines of products. Wow, sorry about that. 6 new lines of products, right? To help with COVID-19, right? Let me skip to the good part. All right, there's only one weird thing about this economic windfall. According to, now I don't know if this has changed since, but according to identical statements from the FDA and the CDC, there are no FDA-approved therapeutics. Now I know the tablet just came out recently, but she's asking permission to launch 6 new inhalers. The point is, at the time of this article, there's nothing that Nephron Pharmaceuticals manufactured that actually will help aid in, the 6 new products especially will help aid in recovering from COVID-19. So this is from the Post and Courier, right? So they have some reporting here as well. Dr. Helmut Albrecht, chair of the Department of Internal Medicine at MUSC, right, said that he has not seen an increased need for medications, but said that it might be possible doctors are using them to treat coronavirus symptoms. If you have asthma or chronic bronchitis, various outside stimuli, mostly allergies and infections, can trigger bronchial spasms. Okay. All right. Coronavirus is certainly an infection that can trigger these in susceptible people, but even though we have not seen many problems with obstructive disease or initial patients. All right, so basically they're saying like nebulizers and whatnot. Nebulizers, which create medicated mist to be inhaled, can disperse COVID-19 droplets further. Wow. Right. So the whole point of me bringing this up, y'all, is just to kind of like, I wanted to just go a little bit beyond the headlines and talk about this. Let me go back to the article. So talk about like this, her stepping down, and how it's kind of largely not critiqued, not poured over really too much. And because she has money and influence, I think people assume a certain level of integrity. And I think that's problematic, right? So, yeah, I kind of wanted to just look that up as I kind of wrap it up. I hope this was a substantive live stream. Really wanted to drive home the Calhoun stuff. Let me switch it up. And Nicole, you said, seems to me she was requiring validation, right, and didn't get it. That Nicole, absolutely, right. Responding to Miss Norrell, her meme, it sounds like she was looking for validation and she didn't get it, so she took her toys and she went home. Just like when it comes to a millionaire, y'all, just think critically about a millionaire. Think critically about. When they air grievances, I'm not saying they don't have valid grievances sometimes, but when they air grievances, usually it's about they weren't given the access that they thought their money would get them. Darla Moore did the same thing. Her mother passed away. And while I will say, if you're running if you're in charge of the wealthy alum, or you're in charge of what's the donors, I don't know what the office is called at USC that talks to or creates that maintains donor relationships. I will say they dropped the ball with Darla Moore, but for her to just quit, what was that, Clemson? Or was it USC? No, it was USC. For her to just kind of quit because she wasn't being centered, you're starting to see a lot of that Karening, and I might have to say a lot of Karening going on, carrying on by these white women in power. And that to me is... yeah, solid week back. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, this stream was good. It was informative. I've got that on Facebook too. Shout out to Lisa, Izzo, Shelby. People said it was informative over on Facebook. I appreciate that so much. Oh, I want to end on this note. Oh, I shouldn't. Let me open up my Twitter again. I want to end on this note. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. Today, I felt really good today. So let me go to my media. That shit pissed me off. Here we go. Shout out to Nicole again. Nicole, I didn't give you a shout out, I don't think, here on the live stream. Shout out for this book. I have not been able to get into it yet, but so I put it on Facebook yesterday or the day before yesterday. People really kept saying, ooh, this is on my list. And people started talking about, it got, people see the cover. The cover is very provocative. The title, they did good. These, whoever came up with the title, whoever dreamed it up, did a really good job because it captivated a lot of people. But over on Facebook, a number of people's like, yo, we really want to talk about this book. So I'm currently trying to figure out how to bring back the book club, but do it in person. and how to do it safely in person, but also want to make it more accessible, and just can't be what it was before. I can't be shelling out all this money. So definitely trying to figure out how to make this interactive, how to set up a camera so where maybe we do Twitch live stream, but we're in person talking to people, people who are vaxxed, people who don't mind wearing a mask indoors or possibly indoors. It is getting chillier, right? So you want the air horns. Yeah, you know what? I think this is the right. I think this is the right book. I think because I love Brittany Cooper too. She provide the foreword. I did read that. I did read the foreword from the book from Brittany Cooper. Amazing, just that amazing Black woman scholar. Y'all need to dig into all of her works. But like, I really think this is a great book to kind of relaunch the book club. Because again, we want to talk about, what does white supremacy look like? We don't often associate white supremacy and the violence that has come of it. Historically, we don't factor women in. And just like, so this book and it's not near me, and They Were Her Property. Those are the two books that really have us, and especially They Were Her Property. They Were Her Property literally just pulls out of history, like of newspapers and other archives, like pulls all these facts out, not of thin air, but they just shout out. But these authors are really interrogating white women's role in upholding white supremacy. And what I like about the book, the premise of this book, is it does talk about how white feminism had thrown Black women under the bus. Right. And so I'm really interested in having that conversation in Charleston. I want to say this. I will preface this. Present company, y'all family. I know I'm in mixed company every day. Anyone who watches this live or watches it later. I'm not as interested in hearing. I want to hear from Black women. I want to know if Black women can get this book, if Black women want to talk about this. I don't know if there are other Black women like me who want to talk about this, who want to, look at white feminism and deconstruct it, dismantle it even, but deconstruct it in a conversation. I want to hear from Black women. And I think that's one thing I'm going to try my damnedest to get as many Black women involved in this book club. I really want to center their concerns and their voice. I know here typically Black women don't like to talk their business in front of white women. I've learned that lesson in some of the events I did years ago, but I would love to try to get a few really powerful, like Kia, you come to mind, Joni comes to mind. Just really get Black women to engage in this conversation. I am not in the business of collecting white women. That's exhausting. That's too much. It's laborious. It takes too much emotional energy. But I am in the business of having this higher level conversation about white womanhood and about their complicity in white supremacy and also white feminism and how and why it's problematic. I lost a lot of people when I started talking about white feminism. I lost a lot of people in terms of followers, friends. They really struggle with white feminism. They thought I was just indicting them as white women, and that wasn't the case. So yeah, literally Charleston. Yeah, you down for it? Let's do it. I want to also figure out a way. I don't know. I can't do everything, but I wish I could buy books for everybody. I really do. I really wish I could buy books for like a bunch of people or a handful of people. But like with the book club last year, and I'm gonna switch up. Like with the book club last year, or the year before that, whenever it was, during the summer of 2020. Like that book club, we're going to make sure that we lift up independent booksellers, thrift books. I don't know if this is a thrift. This can't be a thrifted book that it just came out, but we're going to find all kinds of ways using the Hoopla app, using the Richland County Library apps, Charleston Public Library, whoever has this book, audio books or ebooks, not virtual. I really want people to be able to dig into this book. So I'll be lifting up, and we got to figure out some times. Like, should I wait till January or should I try to do something in December? My gut is saying wait till January. Even though that's a ways away, I think that gives people enough time to read the book. It also helps me to figure out the logistics, how to safely convene people in person and do a hybrid of, hey, if you don't want to come in person or you can't come in person, you're in Columbia, you're in New York, you can come. And like, I want to do the Twitch thing with it. So I think that's the one thing Jared and I talked about really briefly last night, was how to do that live and in person. Harold's Cabin is a place where I want to have it. That's actually the first place where I talked about books publicly. I interviewed, shout out to Itinerant Literate Books in Park Circle. That's my favorite bookstore. Turnleaf is another good bookstore in the area. But at Harold's Cabin, I sat down with Ethan and Blaine, the co-authors of Denmark VC's Garden. I actually interviewed them for their book club, for the Itinerant Literates book club discussion in Harold's Cabin way back. Like if you Google, you can find that event, right? January sounds good, right? Wait till January. Yeah. I think that's right. Yeah, that feels right. Sweatshirts are coming. But we definitely need to, yeah. Come on, Jessica. We'll put some dates out there. Shit, I might do a doodle poll for just Twitch peeps, because y'all are my diehards. I might do a doodle poll with y'all or something where we figure out the best dates, because I really do want to encourage as many people as possible to be a part of it. Even if, again, I'm trying to make it virtual and in person. But that's gonna be tough. January. Yep. Oh yeah. Thank you, Brandon. I'll switch back real quick. Who's that to ask? KCJ18. You missed the book time. The Trouble with White Women. Look at Brandon taking notes. So yeah. We're gonna get into it. January it is. All right. So I appreciate y'all. The hoodies are coming. I'm not even supply chain, y'all. I thought I was sidestepping it, the supply chain. So we got the mic'd up with Mika. It features the mural that's behind me. I wish it would act right. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Elliot McKenzie. I'm gonna hop on a call with them right after I hop off this. But we really want to, this is coming. I really wanted to launch this, the pre-orders for during my birthday week. But supply chain, y'all. Getting the right hoodies it takes a minute, right? So I want to take something that really means a lot to me. The mural means a lot to me. The story behind having my friends help me make my space more of a home. Also, why I wanted to keep the entire mural intact. It was a couple of different versions of this. Why I want to keep why I want to include the mural on the sweatshirt is also because it symbolizes where this content started. Right? Started right here. And as it grows in 2022, as it grows outside of this apartment and we start seeing more people and having more people invited to talk and chat with us, I really wanted to have a piece of this always in your hands and my hands, where this is where reminding us of where it all started. And it started with me trying to facilitate spaces where communities can discuss not just news and not just discuss media literacy, but talk about accountability in the press. Talk about historical narrative. Y'all have been the people to really push this forward. And I feel like the mural will always remind us of where this started and what we were all about. And the fact that my friends did it, to me, it symbolizes what this is all about. Is about enlisting people that you trust, different people, different backgrounds, just like I grew up. So that's the goal. So it's coming, headed to Atlanta. Oh, wow. Okay. When you headed there? Okay, go ahead. You going there now. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all on Monday. Keep your eye on Miss Mace. Keep your eye on a lot of shenanigans this week. But I love y'all, okay? Take care. Take care. Thank you for support. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the follows this week. It's been phenomenal. Thank you for the new Patreon people. I appreciate y'all. All right. Bye.